Hey guys, it's time for another Star Wars Figuarts review, taking a look at a figure that honestly I kind of forgot was coming out until the new pre-orders for Episode 3 Obi-Wan went up, and I found out that, oh yeah, Anakin's coming up. So we've got him here. This is the Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, Anakin Skywalker. I'd say everybody's favorite Anakin Skywalker for sure. Mine in particular. We've got him there in our standard packaging, so he's not an exclusive release, so he gets the window box treatment. You see him there on the front. We have got product shots on the side. We have got product shots on the back, and then a bunch of legalese down there in Japanese. So let's pull this guy out and take a look. All right, guys, here we go. We've got our Episode 3 Anakin Skywalker out of the package. I am very much prepared to take a look at this figure. I've been really looking forward to this. And after this review, if you still need to snatch one, you can still get him on Big Bad Toy Store. I will put a link down below as usual. But let's start out and see how well this guy moves around. As far as articulation goes, I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy, nothing really weird here. It's exactly what you would expect from Figuarts. You know, we've seen a number of Jedi at this point, so it's kind of standard movement in terms of this figure set. You can move the head around, down, up. The neck, of course, is articulated. The head is on a ball peg, hinged ball peg, so it's standard Figuarts fare here. Arms go out all the way around. We have an elbow hinge that goes pretty far, I'd say, about as much as you would expect, and then of course you can rotate in there as well. And then you have to pull the arm out to do that though, because it sits inside the sleeve, because it's one of the sleeved figures obviously. And we've got our ball hinged hands. They are a little confined by the robes here, but I'm not too surprised by that. You know, like I said, I've had a few of these at this point. I kind of know what to expect. We've got a waist twist. We've got up and down motion, so he can look forward pretty far and then back a decent bit. Not too much, but not bad either. Legs go all the way out. If you want to get him in a nice splits pose, kick forward, kick back. You can rotate in that thigh. It is a drop down joint as well, so you can pull it down just a smidge. We do have our standard Figuarts knees, pretty good, a little more than 90. And then of course we do have rocker, and we've got hinges, and then we of course have got a standard Figuarts toe hinge down there as well. So like I said, you know, it's kind of standard for this line for what the Jedis in the Figuarts line do. And I think he moves around well enough. You'll be able to get him in some pretty solid poses. Once we get our Obi-Wan to go along with him, we can pair them up for a nice, goofy fight scene like we know happens in Episode 3. Now, as far as the overall look and feel of this figure, in a general sense, I am very, very happy. I was pretty happy with the Episode 2 Anakin figure that we got from Bandai, and I think this one is just that figure with a little bit extra going on, because this figure has more detail on the tunic, there's more sculpt, there's just a lot more line work on it. It's not as flat looking, there's a little bit more depth to his clothes. It's a very similar outfit to what he had in Episode 2, but with just a little differences here and there. Of course, everything in general is pretty different based on a figure-to-figure comparison, but the overall look is just slightly tweaked enough that he definitely stands apart from his Episode 2 counterpart. And of course, that is not even taking into consideration the fact that this figure has the robotic arm and hand that of course Anakin gets at the end of Episode 2. So we've got a gloved hand. This isn't the hand he comes with in the box. He comes with a closed fist, but I just couldn't wait and had to put that lightsaber in. And then we've got some nice silver embellishments on the gauntlet. So I think that's a nice change up. It looks good. It differentiates the character a bit. Obviously it's true to the character, but it's nice to actually see it in figure form. There is not, however, a lot of paint on this figure, and I'm not saying that necessarily in a negative sense, because it's pretty standard for Figuarts. You know, where they can use cast plastic, they use it, and they use it well. And for the most part, a lot of this is just cast, and I'm perfectly fine with that. When it works, I'm fine with that happening, but we do have some bits of paint here and there. Of course, all over the belt is where a lot of the key smaller details are keyed in, and I really think that works very well. I do have some issues with the face on this figure, so we do, of course, need to kind of zoom in on that, take a quick look, and kind of see what's going on from the neck up on this guy. So as far as the standard head goes, this is the one he comes with in the box. I am mostly okay with it. It's pretty decent, but I don't think it looks necessarily exactly like Hayden Christensen. I think it's a little off, and it's, you know, just one of those things where he looks better at an angle in some ways. He looks better from the side than he does, say, from dead on. Something is a little lost on me in this head sculpt. It's not perfect, but it's certainly not bad either. I'm not saying it's bad at all by any means. It just doesn't really portray this particular actor to me 100% of the time. There are, of course, other heads One of them I think is worse. One of them I think is better, however. So we do have a few options to choose from. The paintwork on it is pretty top-notch. You know, we've got photo printing technology in use here, of course. Everything's very straight and clean. And then, of course, we've got, you know, his flowing hair. And there's a little bit of shading in there, not too much. My only real problem is that we do have a seam line in that head, so you can kind of see it there. You know, I know if you kind of push it hard enough, it might go away a little bit, but it is definitely there. Maybe it's more so a thing on my figure, but it's a prominent eyesore, to say the least. So let's take a look at some accessories and see what all this guy comes with. So of course we have to start with the extra heads because I've already mentioned them. So we do have 2 extra faces, maybe not heads, they're extra faces. So you swap the face plates out, pretty standard for Figuarts. We have got this screaming head, which I think sort of works, but also sort of doesn't. I really think it's intended for his head to be tilted down, and then you're kind of looking at it from an angle. It's not meant to be looked at dead on. I just don't see how that's possible. Something about it is kind of weird, not to mention the fact that he is looking up. So it definitely seems like that's what it's meant to do. Even then, I think something is kind of lost here. It's not as bad as, you know, I thought it was going to be from some initial pictures, but it's definitely kind of weird at the same time. It seems like certain angles he looks better than others. Certain angles it looks like he has a really big nose, but it is very nicely detailed, and I like what they did with the mouth being wide open. There's a lot of detail in those teeth. But this head, something is kind of lost on it with me, so I don't think I'm ever going to actually use it. Always up for the inclusions. You know, I'm going to take some pictures with it for sure, but it's not my preferred head sculpt. This is my preferred head sculpt. So this is the Sith eyes face that we get, and this is, as far as I'm concerned, the one to use. It's what I'm going to use no matter what. It's just perfect for Anakin. It's kind of soft almost. It looks slightly angry, but at the same time slightly sad, which is very much an Anakin thing. The eyes are well done. The scar is nice and prominent. There's some subtle shading on the face. So in general, I'm very, very happy with this one, and frankly, I really don't have any issues with this face sculpt at all. It is what I was really looking forward to the most out of the accessory set with this particular figure. Now, beyond the faces, we of course have got a few other accessories. He's not exactly loaded with accessories, but we do have a few. Obviously, we've got the lightsaber. So this is the Skywalker saber. It's a standard Figuarts lightsaber. It's got the blade. You can put it in his hand. We do, of course, have a unignited saber. You can peg it on his belt here if you want to do that. I rarely use these, but I always like the fact that they give them to us. We have got 2 closed fist hands, so you've got one here, and then we've got one that he comes with in the box. It's just the black glove. We have got the hand that he is using right now, which kind of doubles as 2 things. So he uses it as his gripping hand, but it's also a force choke motion. So you've got that one for his right hand. We have got a gripping hand for his left hand for the saber, and then we've also got an open palm kind of force push hand for his left and for his right. So you've got 2 extra set of hands and then 1 standard set that comes in the package. So in general, he doesn't have a ton, but he kind of has almost everything you might really need for Anakin and any situation you're going to put him in. Now, as far as comparisons go, there aren't a great deal of things to compare against, but here's our Episode 3 Anakin with our Episode 2 Anakin, both Figuarts releases, and, you know, you can just see they're different. I mean, they're not supposed to be the same, but they're obviously similar, but at the same time different. The one thing that's kind of weird between these is that this guy is actually slightly taller. Not tremendously so, and maybe from a distance not noticeable, but an oddity is that the Episode 2 version is slightly taller. Of course, we do have one thing we can do a legit comparison against, and that would, of course, be the Black Series. I don't know. There's no comparison between these two. I objectively do not like this figure. I think it's goofy looking. It's odd. The face is just weird. No shading. Of course, we just found out we're getting a Phototech version of the Black Series down the road. So, you know, Figuarts may have some competition there, but I don't like the Black Series Anakin. I never have, even though he is slightly coveted by people because he's pretty rare these days. But there you go. There is our comparison. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there is no comparison. The Figuarts blows the Black Series right out of the water. So yeah, overall, I am pretty happy with this Anakin figure. All things said and done, my only real gripes about this figure are that I think the 2 non-Sith faces are slightly off. There's just something about them I can't quite put my finger on, but they don't look exactly like Hayden Christensen to me, at least not as much as the Sith face does. That said, at the end of the day, the Sith face is what I was always planning to use no matter what, so I guess ultimately I got the figure I was hoping to get regardless of what those faces look like. Beyond that though, I'm a big Anakin fan, specifically out of this movie, so this was a no-brainer for me. I'm very happy to add this alongside the entire host of Jedi Figuarts that I've already got, and I would urge anyone who hasn't done so to do the same. So that's going to do it for this look at the SH Figuarts Anakin Skywalker from Bandai Tamashii Nations. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.